I decided to run out and grab some quick video with the drone from the Sanford Dam. Here in Michigan, we've been experiencing our spring thaw melt, little rainstorm, so water levels are really high right now, and water is flowing back through the spillway. So you can see the differences from the last time I was here and filmed an update. They had the sheet pile cutoff wall here, and there was no water in this area. Now there's water right up to the Powerhouse, water flowing through the spillways. And if you've been keeping up on the live camera, you were able to see all this work being completed when they removed the sheet pile from upstream and downstream and removed all of the crushed limestone where that sheet pile was driven through. And then they were able to let water start flowing through this low-level outlet over here on the right-hand side. We'll get up there nice and close. It looks like they have that closed at present time. I'm not sure why they closed that. Maybe it's just because the low-level outlet is supposed to be used when the flows are not very high. And when you have all this spring flooding occurring, there would be a lot of debris and stuff coming down the river that would just probably come over here and get stuck and trapped in these grates that would not go through this low-level outlet. So they probably went ahead and shut that and just allow the water flowing through these spillways. Spillways are looking great. They're looking like they're ready to get some gates installed, but with the ongoing litigation, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about. If you haven't, just go ahead and Google Huron Cove Association or Four Lakes Task Force lawsuit, any sorts of stuff like that. There's a lot of litigation that's ongoing and going to be causing these projects to all come to a stoppage at this point. So the 5 dams, all under control of the Four Lakes Task Force, will be coming to a pause very shortly. The 2 northernmost dams, Secord and Smallwood, have already reached their pause stage, and Sanford is pretty much to that point right now. So you can see that cutoff wall was transferred over here where the water used to be flowing through, where the embankment used to be, and now that water is flowing back through the spillways as we just saw. You can see where that dike used to be, that temporary dike where they had blocked off the water a couple of years ago and then removed that before allowing water to flow through this little window. You can see that window with the sheet pile pounded into a lower elevation. And it looks like they did go ahead and maybe break a couple of those sheet piles or cut a V in them so that a lot of that water could drain out of here and decrease their workload of having to dewater that area some more. So you can see a lot of this riprap in this area. This was used for erosion control, and it worked great. You can see no erosion has happened here, but now the laborious task of going ahead and removing all of this riprap, and it is being repurposed and reused in other areas on the site, so nothing is going to waste here. You can see over here to the south, all of that riprap that was lining this channel has already been removed except for underneath the temporary bridge where they were unable to get with the excavator. Guessing that temporary bridge won't be needed much longer as this area is going to be filled in the near future. This embankment, the earthen embankment, will be filled back in and that emergency spillway rebuilt. You can see that water no longer flowing underneath the temporary bridge and flowing through the spillways on Sanford Dam once again. A lot of crushed limestone over there on the right-hand side. That used to be where that sheet pile was pounded in and through, where that temporary roadway and dike was used when they dewatered this area around the Sanford Dam. And over here on the left-hand side, more sheet pile being installed. So great work going on here by Fisher Contracting. All the contractors on site, Spicer, Engineering, Spence Brothers, and this concrete pad over there on the left. They just finished that up and wrapped that up too. You're able to see that from the live camera. And the low-level outlet you can see here on the left-hand side. Again, no water passing through that. All of this water passing through the spillways here at Sanford Dam, and it's quite a bit of water. It would have been nice if these dams were completed by this time, that there could have been gates installed, closed up, and allowed Sanford Lake, Secord Lake, and Smallwood Lake all to refill. But unfortunately, there are other things that are out of the control of Four Lakes Task Force and all the construction crews. Yeah, look at that water. That's pretty amazing seeing that pour through these spillways. When I was filming this, I was trying to see if there was going to be any fish. Maybe we would see some carp, some bass, some bluegill flowing over and through the spillway. I'm sure there's some right down here at the bottom where that water is flowing and crashing over that sill. There's probably a lot of fish right in that area. Powerhouse over on the right hand side looks like it's undergoing a little bit more work, and I'm going to keep gaining altitude. You can see that crane over on the left hand side, Sanford lake bottom, lake bed all the way up to the north, and that's flooding a little bit with the increased water flow and all of the snow melt water that's coming through the Tittabawassee River. And we're gaining altitude all the way up to 400 feet. We're going to see what things look like from up at this altitude. 400 feet is the limit that I'm able to fly the drone up to be able to capture these views. But yeah, that work ongoing over on the left-hand side. There's quite a bit more riprap that needs to be removed, and that riprap had been transferred over there by the sheet pile cutoff wall. And you can see all the way up to the north where that Tittabawassee River flows underneath the US 10 bridge. That will be undergoing some construction really shortly here as well. We'll pan over, take a look at the Sanford Park and the ball fields. They're looking great. I'm going to be greening up here very shortly as temperatures rise here in Michigan. Tomorrow it's supposed to be high of 55 and a lot of water flowing down the Tittabawassee River there. So we're still up at 400 feet in altitude, just got that top-down view looking at the water flowing through the spillways on the Sanford Dam. And we'll come over behind the Powerhouse, and there's been a little bit more work that's happened over there. We'll get a closer view of that shortly. You can see where that ice line ends right there in front of the dam, or actually it is behind the dam. And all that new sheet pile over on the right-hand side stopping the water from flowing through the breach channel. And looks like they'll probably be doing some dewatering there. Maybe they just have to pull the sheet pile where that window is, and that will all drain out of there. If you haven't yet, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. It's pretty simple. You just click the subscribe button below this video or click that thumbs up, the like button. It really does help out on the channel a lot. If you're interested in the equipment that I'm using here to film these videos, check the description down below. There's links to Amazon that are Amazon affiliate links, and if you click those and purchase anything from Amazon within 24 hours, it doesn't even have to be the thing that I'm linked to. I get a small kickback of those proceeds that come back to the channel, so that's also a huge help. Quick shot of the low-level outlet gates. That's how they're controlled up there at the top. And again, over here on the right-hand side, we can see the crane hammering in some new sheet pile. Actually, this is not new sheet pile. This has been reused and used again on the site multiple times. This was probably the sheet pile that was installed to dewater in front of and behind the dam, now being repurposed and reused here to create another wall. They're not all pounded down to their elevations where they need to be yet. This is just temporarily getting them installed to an approximate depth with the vibratory hammer. Then they'll probably switch over to the impact hammer to drive them down the rest of the way. Nice little pan over again, seeing the water going through Sanford Dam and over the sill, downriver, down the Tittabawassee River. And over here on the right-hand side, we'll come up behind the Powerhouse. Again, see what's going on here. It looks like there's a lot of scaffolding assembled. Up on the top left corner, you could see the live camera, so that is where that is mounted on the Powerhouse, giving us an awesome 24/7 view of the work that's ongoing here. Looks like there's some really nice windows installed here on the Powerhouse. Looks like they might be repairing some of those cracks in the foundation of the Powerhouse. And then this nice new wall over here that has been installed with riprap lining kind of the driveway, the parking area that comes up to the Powerhouse. And I think that's a new generator. I don't recall that ever seeing there before. So if power ever goes out, they're able to maintain electricity here at the dam, since hydropower is no longer in this dam's future or any of these dams' future. We'll come over here. We're going to check out The excavator, we're going to watch him for a little while, and then we'll actually come over and watch the bulldozer real quick before we end this video. But I know there's a lot of people that do like watching some of this raw video. You can also check out the lake bottom in the background there. So it looks like there's a little bit of a staging area, maybe some crushed limestone, maybe some riprap, maybe some clay, maybe some sand material, just kind of creating some roadways. But this is some precision work that the excavator is doing here, picking up this riprap, trying to scrape along and not scrape any of the clay, probably the old lake bottom that used to be there, and only picking up that top layer of riprap, not bringing in any of that other sediment. So once he's got a full scoop, looks like he swings over, dumps this into the back of the off-road dump truck very carefully. Not sure, these big boulders, you can see that rock truck moving just from that moderate sized one dumping in there, so they don't want to damage their equipment by just dumping these large riprap in there in an uncontrolled fashion. Love seeing this work. You guys are like me, you're probably watching Gold Rush and love seeing all this dirt work happening. I love my job, but if I had a second job, probably would be running an excavator, moving dirt in some fashion. Just pretty interesting to me. And the bulldozer over here looks like he's pushing some clay around. Not sure where this clay came from, but you'll see a staging area over on the left-hand side that there looks like there's quite a big pile. And this is our bedrock here in Michigan. It's an impermeable layer, usually pretty robust to erosion. So that's probably why they're using it here, just filling back in this channel where the earthen embankment used to be at with our bedrock here, our hard pan, which is clay. And again, right there on the left side, you can see it looks like there's a very large pile of clay staged there. Guessing, don't know for certain, but that might all be used to fill in this area where the water is, where that earthen embankment used to be that has washed away when this breach occurred. Nice shot of the temporary bridge, bulldozer coming up over to it, but he didn't end up going across it. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't think this bridge will stay in too much longer, especially if work is able to proceed and they're able to continue filling in this area with that clay, fill in this breach area. Then they'll be able to just drive right across there because water is flowing back through the Sanford Dam again, and they shouldn't need to redirect it and have it flow through this breach channel any longer for any of the future work that will be ongoing here at the Sanford Dam. It's unsure, no one's really sure how long this litigation will take. Midland courts reached a decision that there was not a case, but it has been appealed multiple times, and now I believe it is going to the Michigan Supreme Court of Appeals. Don't quote me on that, but if you look up the articles, you'll be able to see where things are at right now. But from what I'm seeing, work will be stopping on all the dams, and this will be the last dam that work will be stopping at very shortly here. Hopefully that's not the case. I'd like to see things continue progressing here, and we'll have to wait and see, though. It's out of a lot of people's control and just up to the court system now. We'll swing back over here in front of the dam one more time before I leave you. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it. And always make sure you're checking out the live camera and staying tuned for future updates. Thanks for watching, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Also, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next videos I will be posting, and leave your questions, comments, and suggestions below. As always, I just want to give a massive thanks to the people who support me on Patreon. Never underestimate the value of your contribution to keeping this channel going. Thank you.